This is a message to David Beckham. I consider you, along with Kim Woodburn and Monty Don, to be a gay icon. You were the first Premiership footballer to do shoots with gay magazines like Attitude, to speak openly about your gay fans, and you married a Spice Girl, which is the gayest thing a human being can do.
Comedian Joe Lycett recently had a message for England great David Beckham.
But now it's 2022, and you've signed a reported £10 million deal with Qatar to be their ambassador during the FIFA World Cup.
Not to be a stickler, Joe, but Fox Sports cited a report that Qatar actually paid Beckham $277 million in October 2021 when announcing Becks as the global ambassador, but here we are.
Qatar was voted as one of the worst places in the world to be gay. Homosexuality is illegal, punishable by imprisonment, and if you're Muslim, possibly even death. You've always talked about the power of football as a force for good, which suggests to me that you've never seen West Brom. But generally, I agree. So with that in mind, I'm giving you a choice. If you end your relationship with Qatar, I'll donate this 10 grand of my own money, that's £1 for every million you're reportedly getting, to charities that support queer people in football. However, if you do not, at midday next Sunday, I will throw this money into a shredder. Not just the money, but also your status as a gay icon will be shredded.
So Lycett, a gay man himself, issued a warning to Beckham, which of course, David was too busy helping an oppressive regime, filming scenes in spice markets. He did not reply, so...
You'll be forcing me to commit a crime. Although even then, I reckon I'll get off more likely than I would if I got caught whacking off a lad in Doha.
While Lycett fulfilled his promise,
I love Murakami.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I like all tacos.
When I walked up to the museum for the first time, I was blown away by the architecture.
Beckham was groveling for the Qatari government, which, by the way, comments for these videos were turned off.
So, where were we? When you didn't end your relationship, or even respond in any way, I streamed myself dropping 10k into a shredder. Or did I? I haven't quite told you the whole truth. Because the truth is, the money that went into the shredder was real, but the money that came out was fake. I would never destroy real money. I would never be so irresponsible. In fact, the 10 grand had already been donated to LGBTQ+ charities before I even pressed send on the initial tweet last week. I never expected to hear from you. It was an empty threat, designed to get people talking. In many ways, it was like your deal with Qatar, David. Total from the start.
One man thinks Beckham has ravaged his own legacy. I see that his future will be ruined, but at least he will have some millions, said Fahad, who as a younger man spent 2.5 months in solitary confinement in a Qatari prison for the crime of wearing makeup. No, nothing has changed for us. Same-sex sexual activity is punishable by 7 years in prison in Qatar. Under an interpretation of Sharia law, it can lead to a death sentence. There is not so much an LGBTQ+ community in Qatar as a disparate collection of terrified individuals.
There is one thing I'll shred. This is your Attitude magazine cover from June 2002, the first ever cover of a gay magazine with a Premier League footballer on it. I asked Attitude if I could shred it, and they were more than happy to oblige. Gosh, it's all been quite a lot, this, hasn't it? Right, I'm off down the gay village to have a few pints.
Let's check in on Beckham, shall we?
I would love to hear about the cultural importance of the falcon.
A report from Human Rights Watch published in October documented alleged cases of beatings and sexual harassment. According to victims interviewed by Human Rights Watch, security forces allegedly forced trans women to attend conversion therapy sessions at a behavioral health care center sponsored by the government.
I love being in the middle of nowhere and talking and eating.
Beckham also made an appearance at a youth festival and said Qatar dreamed of bringing the World Cup to a place that it had never been before, but that it wouldn't be enough just to achieve things on the pitch. The pitch would be a platform for progress. This is in stark contrast, by the way, to the reported, via The Guardian, 6,500 migrant workers who died in over 120-degree heat to build the stadiums, who came from Bangladesh, Nepal, India, Pakistan, and others, who were not paid a lot of the time, who had sewage running through their quarters, who had bed bugs, who had bugs and maggots all over their food, who did not have access to clean showers. Some would bathe, as Real Sports showed, in the sink or in the bathroom, which, as I already stated, had sewage running through it. Their passports were withheld through a system that only until fairly recently Qatar says they dismantled, which was the kafala system. There were 8+ to a room, but hey, you know what? Platform for progress. There's a reason why brave activists have tried to sound the alarm on just how dire it is for many in Qatar, including the LGBTQ+ community. This man, Peter Tatchell, would tell The Guardian, despite Qatar being a sexist, homophobic, and racist dictatorship, Beckham has reportedly described it as perfection, Tatchell said. Beckham was once a LGBT+ ally, an icon, but no more. He's taken his 30 pieces of silver, putting money before principles. He seems driven solely by pure greed.